I'm out here this evening after work today, pretty wore out. Just out in the heat part of the day, out in lawn and garden again this weekend. And the sun's finally starting to go over the horizon, and we've got storm clouds coming in, some big thunderheads building up, so hopefully we get some rain again like we did about 1 o'clock in the morning. Big thunderstorm that only probably lasted about 30 minutes. Anyway, I'm out here, wanted to show you, as a lot of you already know, that I got this the other day, and my goal is to get this intake cleaned up. It's still kind of filthy looking. Get it back to like new casting, hopefully, or pretty close to it anyway. And then what I want to do is eventually, after I get all the work done to it, I want to come in here and tape off around the bottom edge and around the sides of this lettering. I'm going to paint the background between the lettering, the Caterpillar orange, or John Deere, or not orange, but John Deere or Caterpillar yellow, and then red around for the around. Well, let's see here. I'm going to do a red and yellow theme in here, and then the lettering will be white with black trim. But anyway, and then the Offenhauser logo. If I remember correctly, the inside of this is yellow, and then the circle is going to be red, and then the little race car is red. And I'm going to paint those up, kind of dress it up a little bit. But since I'm going to be running, this is the 2-barrel from off of the Slant-Sickness in the Dart here under the hood. So I got to go to the swap meet next week and see if the guy's got 2 more of these, preferably pre-emissions Slant-Sickness carbs, if not stock 318 or 273 carburetors, Carter carburetors. And then I got a decision. Somebody brought it up on one of the Slant-Sickness groups I belong to on Facebook, because these platforms are set up, I guess what one guy said back in the day, Offenhauser said that they had made these for one by one like this is, or you could turn, it was already a 2x2, but or maybe they set it up to where this was set up in order if you decided to go and run 2 barrels, you could do it. So you can see this is the insulator gasket plate you put underneath your 2-barrel carburetors. I got 2 different types. Got this style, which is kind of like the dog bone style, because you can see the ears on the end of the dog bone. And then you got the standard, same thickness or pretty close to it. This one's a little bit more clean. This one kind of sticks out over the base plate here of the intake. But I pretty much lined it up where the carb is supposed to sit, and then what I did is I took a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, outlined it, and then colored the inside a different color. But that's how much material I got to remove, and then I'd have to drill the 4 holes. But then somebody else brought it up that if I set it up like this and take a measurement from here to the where the new opening is going to be, this runner is not as equal to these runners, so you would have to basically have this platform here and here milled down, and then have the shop that's going to weld a new plate on and have them match it up to where the runners are completely even, kind of like this one is right here, far back and even as possible measurements. And then you would have to have it re-welded back onto the intake. So if you do it like this right now, you have to run the carburetor facing this way, and a lot of people say that this this port's going to richen up a little bit more than the others because it got a little bit longer runners. And then if you did it to where you're getting even flow to all ports, you do that to run the carburetor this way, where the fuel line comes off over here, and the linkage would be the throttle would be over here on each side. But see, the thing is, I'm not going to be running this in any Mopar cars. I'm going to be running this in a rat rod, hopefully, if everything works out. Now, otherwise you'd have to flip it around like this, and then you got the linkage to the inside, which creates a whole nother problem because you'd have to figure out how to run, because I'm going to run manual, the factory manual kickdown linkage. And so yeah, you would have to come up with a whole new scenario. And I'm all up for the challenge, but at the same time, I would have, if I was to do it like this, put the linkage closest to the firewall, and so the kickdown, anyway, I would have to invent some type of throttle setup, maybe something like what a 90s XJ Jeep has, where it has the have the steel tubes come over here and have little brackets welded to them, and run the braided cable through, and have it on like a little pulley wheel or something, and then it would come over here and connect. That way when you press down on the accelerator, it would come through here, pull the cable back through the tube, and open up the throttle. But then you're still running into the deal with the kickdown linkage, unless you went with like low car. But if you don't get those adjusted just right, you can burn your transmission up. I've heard mixed reviews on the low car stuff. People run them, have no problem. Other people said they've did set them up the way they're supposed to, and they still had problems. And I'm all about doing as easy, simplest as possible, not MacGyver and stuff to where it just falls apart. So I think when it's all said and done, if I have to, for each cylinder, the one that has a shorter port, I'll run a hotter plug, and then the rest of the plugs the rest of the ports I'll run a cooler plug. And I don't know if the Slant-Sickness 2-barrel carburetor has the same jets as the stock 273 318 Carter 2-barrel or not. I guess I'd have to do some research on that, unless somebody knows in the comments section. But yeah, this is how I'm going to set it up, like this. And then I would run a T-fitting or something over here. However I'm going to do it. Make sure it's got even supply lines going to the fitting, so it's getting the same amount of gas. But anyway, I'm going to do that. And then they got the headers. Anyway, there's that. Oh, and here's something else. We're going to get away from the Slant-Sickness thing for a minute. I want to show you something. So, the truck started to develop an issue. I don't know if it's a head gasket or it's got a crack in one or both of the heads. I'm going to have to take the plugs back out here, and it started acting up again on the way home. It ran great the other day. I completely flushed the system out, boiled the thermostat to up to 195, and it opened. I did it several different times. It works. It's got a brand new radiator cap. Flushed the radiator out, back flushed it. Got a little bit of filth out of the block and out of the radiator, but that was pretty clean. It's got the right amount of radiator fluid. I've been checking to see if I was starving for fuel. Maybe that was because this truck, when you're going down the road, when it gets fully warmed up, it I'll just show you. I know the nature of my truck, and let's see here. And down here on the gas gauge, right there in the middle, that middle mark, I'm sorry, way off. I've never seen the temperature gauge go over the halfway mark. I've always seen it just a little under, or on the real cool days it'll go down to that third mark. From where it's sitting now, it'll come up to the third mark. But I've never seen it go in the middle or past that. Now, so once it gets fully warmed up going down the highway and gets up about almost that halfway mark, right about in there somewhere, that's when the truck starts acting like it's cutting out, randomly cutting out. Sounds like it's starving for fuel. I even heard the carburetor today go sput, sput. And this is the plug I pulled out last time. Let me see if I can get it in a spot where you can see it better. See how there's no gap? That's what I found that in one of the cylinders. The spark plug looked just like that. And these are brand new off-the-shelf spark plugs. And then I found one over on the opposite side. I don't know if it was the same cylinder or not. I don't remember. It's been several days. Same thing. Rest of the spark plugs, great gap, the way I left them. Now, what I can do in this video is I'll pause it and it'll make it look like I edited the video, but I'll start with the first one and work my way down and check each spark plug. Let me do that because and like I said, this has got a real short exhaust system on it. I don't see white smoke coming out, billowing out the pipes. And I have no leaks. Oh, except for one little one, I think maybe the water pump, the weep hole is the water pump's getting ready to go out. Maybe that's the issue. The other part of the deal is supposedly you can spin these clutch fans like the Wheel of Fortune, and if it doesn't take hardly any time for it to stop, that means the clutch fan's still good, but the engine's not fully warmed up and running either. It's a pretty old clutch fan. It came off of a 79 Jeep Wagoneer, and I got half of a fan shroud on here, which is, I mean, this thing still pulls a lot of air, which it could be, it may not be, I don't know. It's always done good. I can always feel the air being sucked through from the front. If I was to take my hand and put it down in front of the radiator while it's running, it does really well. What I'll probably end up doing is, I got a brand new water pump in the house that I was saving for my 360. It's the same type of one, and this one is an AC unit pump. I'll get a gasket and replace the pump, run this, see if it still acts up. And if it does, then I'll go ahead and order the same type of clutch and clutch fan from Rock Auto. That's for a 270 or 280 Mercedes-Benz from off of Rock Auto, from Mercedes-Benz from like 1978 model. And it bolts up perfectly. It's got the same base plates and everything, the pulleys and on the bolts, everything all match up. But the only deal is it's a almond color synthetic type fiber plastic bladed fan. It's heavy duty, it's real thick. I had to sand the whole thing and paint it with a special Rust-Oleum high temp plastic automotive paint. I still got a can of it, but anyway, I'll do that. And if it still has an issue, then I know that I've got head gasket issues, or a combination of that and cracked heads or something. I don't know how it managed to do that, because it's never overheated. Never had this problem. It doesn't leak anywhere else, especially after I changed out the exhaust manifolds. So let me put the phone down and we'll see if any of these spark plugs are on each side is the culprit. Okay, I had to turn the fan on to get a little warm out here, but anyway, there's no breeze. Anyway, this is spark plug number 2 on the cylinder number 2. As you can see, nothing wrong with it. Yeah, here's spark plug number 4. I know I'm going backwards, but anyway, nothing wrong with it. Number 6, nothing wrong with it. Come on, phone. There you go. Okay. Okay, so here's what I was telling you about. Right here. This is weird because it's like it's moving around. This is the number 8 cylinder. See how the electrodes are pretty much touching? The first time I come across this, I think it was the number 3 cylinder over no, it was the number, let's see, 1, 2, the number 5 cylinder over there, and then I found one over here that was either the 4 cylinder or the 6th one that was doing this. See, now, like I said, that gap closed up, and these are new spark plugs. So I don't know what's going on. It's weird how it's all over the place, but as soon as you re-gap them, you clean them up, or you put different plugs in here, the truck runs great. Goes down the road, goes into town, comes back, no problem. And then after 1 or 2 drives to town, it starts doing that. I don't know. But anyway, hold on a minute. Okay, so now we're starting on this, on the driver's side where we should have started in the first place. But anyway, oh well. Anyway, and I did, like, in case somebody like Uncle Tony from Uncle Tony's Garage is watching this, or whoever, or anybody else in the comments, or even just the trolls, I checked all the basics. This is besides this engine being bored 30 over, it has factory flat top style pistons. There's no high compression. The heads hadn't been shaved down. I had to break in the cam and lifters on this engine years ago. The spark plugs are the correct size. There's nothing hitting the plugs that I know of. They're all the same pistons, the whole 9 yards. It came out of a performance kit that I bought, but they weren't high compression pistons. But anyway, I've checked. Like I said, I put 2 new spark plugs in there, and they're doing well. These other ones are used, but the new ones that I put in the place where I was having the issues, they're not doing that anymore. I don't know if I got a bad batch of spark plug, or eventually it started going bad, even though they're NGKs. But like I said, we're going to check this side now. We're going to start with the number 1 cylinder, and I'll be right back. Okay, cylinder number 1. You can see the gap. I don't have to. Phone's being a little you-know-what today. Anyway, you can see the gap. Okay, here it is. 1, 2, 3. The number 3 cylinder. There it is. Last time I gapped these, there they are. There it is again, touching. The electrodes are touching one another. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is there's they're either bad spark plugs. I got a package of bad spark plugs, or some weird thing like maybe if there is a head gasket leak with the coolant, or a crack in the head, that coolant is spraying in there on the spark plug and causing the metal to cool down and shrink, and it's causing these electrodes, this hook, to go from like this down like that and wilt like a dying flower. I don't know. But okay, here's cylinder number 5. Come on, get back in there. There we go. The gap is closed again. And last but not least, here is number 7. Nothing wrong with the gap. And yeah, this is a little blaster MSD coil, 300 and some ohms. Nothing wrong with there. It's doing what it's supposed to do. We got the GM 4-prong HEI ignition control module stock by the brand standard. The spark plugs are what's recommended for this truck, this engine. All the spark plug wires are in the correct firing order. Everything, the distributor, it's all doing what it's supposed to be doing. So my guess is something with the coolant system or the heads or the head gaskets. That's the only thing I can think of. So now since I went ahead and re-gapped them spark plugs, let me go ahead and shut this fan off. The Turbo 2000 I call it. Now if I go to put the key in here, okay, so like I said, those troubled spark plugs that are new, that I re-gapped. See, I even switched different spark plugs around too, just to see if a different spark plug that fits this engine would have problems, and it still does it. But now watch, come in here, the truck's been sitting for about an hour. No smoke. Even when you rev it up, no smoke. Idling great. No liquid. We'll check the other side. Like I said, it only seems to do it when it's fully warmed up. So you know, look, my hand's not wet. It's pretty humid out here too. Plenty of coolant. It's got the tiniest amount of aeration in it, but you can still see mostly. See, nothing dripping out the bottom. It only does it when you shut it off. It's got a really super slick, and I've already checked the gaskets, the water pump gasket, and then the actual timing chain cover gasket. Nothing's leaking from there. So, sorry about the finger being in the way, but. And no leaks around the exhaust manifolds, because this one up front and the one on the very end go directly into the water jackets. It's because of the way the people that had the heads before me, or maybe they just corroded through, and we re-drilled them and tapped them properly to the side the same way on the two ends. But I got that. This stuff they just came out with, you can get it at O'Reilly's. Victor Rent's RV gasket maker, 608 degrees Fahrenheit plus, extreme temp, works for all kinds of stuff. Sensor safe, seals up. And you can get, and when one of these tubes, you can get 5 times the amount in one of them little tubes that you use that are specifically for coolant sealant, gasket sealant. Anyway, as you can see, no misses, no sputs. See, nothing out the exhaust. Idle's nice. Oops, shut that off here. Shut the camera light off. Anyway, let me shut this off. As you can see, did this the other day after I flushed the entire system really well, let it warm up with plain water in it, circulated it, drained it out, had a garden hose hooked to the flush kit that I bought from Prestone, did the whole 9 yards, flushed, back flushed the radiator, worked fine, drove into town, came home, didn't have any issues on one day. It was hot out. I think it was 103 with the heat index. And then the next day, drove it to work, started acting up a little bit, parked it, went in, got left that day. Halfway home, started doing that, like it was stumbling, you know, and like it was starving for gas. And then nursed it home, checked them spark plugs, and you saw in the video, that's how when I got home after it was really running real bad today, got home, those 3 spark plugs, and like I said, I put brand new spark plugs in there. That was a different set. They had the longer electrodes. They're for the Jeep 4.0 liter engines, which works fine in these engines. Same thing. Didn't matter what spark plugs. So I'm going to try to get Uncle Tony from Uncle Tony's Garage to watch this video and see what he thinks. And that's it. That's it for this video. Went on long enough. 27 minutes. Till next time.